Imagine ancient Anatolia, modern Turkey, a land of mountains and plains, a crossroads of continents. Long before Rome or Greece, this land was home to the Hittites, a forgotten superpower of the Bronze Age. They challenged Egypt, built a stone capital, and wrote surprisingly fair laws. Masters of the chariot and pioneers of diplomacy, they signed the world's first known peace treaty. For centuries, their memory vanished, their cities buried, their language lost. Only scattered references in ancient texts hinted at their existence, often as a minor tribe. Archaeologists digging in Turkey uncovered the truth: not a small tribe, but a vast empire ruled from the fortress city of Hattusa. The Hittites shaped history from the Aegean to the Euphrates, their story one of innovation, conquest, and collapse. Let's journey back 4,000 years to uncover the rise of this lost empire. The Hittite story begins not with a sudden conquest, but with a gradual migration, a movement of people and ideas across vast distances. Around 2000 BCE, groups of Indo-European speakers journeyed into central Anatolia. They didn't arrive as invaders, but as settlers, blending their traditions with those of the native Hatti people who had lived there for centuries. Instead of conquering by force, these newcomers integrated themselves into local society. They established settlements, engaged in trade, and learned from the Assyrian merchants who frequented the region. Through these interactions, they adopted cuneiform writing, a powerful tool for administration and communication. Early Hittite society was a mosaic of independent city-states, each with its own ruler and customs. Among these, Kanesh, also known as Nesa, emerged as a vital hub for commerce and culture, connecting distant lands through its bustling markets. The newcomers called their language Nesili and referred to their homeland as the land of Hatti, a sign of the deep cultural fusion taking place. This blending was visible in their art, language, and daily life. They absorbed local gods into their own pantheon, borrowed words and adopted customs, forging a new hybrid identity that was neither wholly Hatti nor entirely Indo-European. Over time, ambitious leaders like Anita began to rise. Through a mix of military campaigns and shrewd diplomacy, they started uniting the scattered cities, laying the foundation for a powerful kingdom. Anita's legendary campaigns, including the dramatic conquest and subsequent cursing of Hattusa, would echo through history, setting the stage for the city to later become the Hittite capital. The true strength of the Hittites lay in their remarkable ability to blend cultures. Rather than simply dominating, they created a society where different peoples and traditions could coexist and enrich one another. This adaptability, this willingness to learn, absorb, and transform, became the hallmark of the Hittite civilization and the secret to their enduring rise. From these humble and complex beginnings, a powerful and influential kingdom would soon emerge, shaping the course of ancient history in Anatolia and beyond. In the heart of ancient Anatolia, a land of rugged mountains and fertile valleys, the city-states were once divided, each ruled by its own local chieftain. But this fractured landscape was forever changed by the rise of Labarna, a visionary leader who would become the founder of the Hittite Old Kingdom. Through a combination of military prowess, diplomacy, and strategic alliances, Labarna managed to unify these disparate city-states under a single banner, forging the foundations of a powerful new realm. Labarna established a lasting dynasty, ensuring stability by appointing his sons as governors over key regions. This not only secured his realm against internal rebellion, but also created a network of loyal administrators who could enforce his will across the kingdom. His reforms laid the groundwork for a centralized government, a rarity in the ancient world. After Labarna, his successor Hattusili I took a bold step by moving the capital to Hattusa, a city long believed to be cursed. Defying superstition, Hattusili rebuilt Hattusa as a formidable fortress, transforming it into the heart of Hittite power and a symbol of resilience. From this new capital, the Hittites launched ambitious military campaigns, expanding their influence deep into Syria and coming into conflict with the great empires of the Near East. Their armies marched across vast distances, seeking both glory and resources. The most daring of these exploits came under Mursili I, Hattusili's grandson. In a stunning display of military audacity, Mursili led his forces on a long and perilous march to Babylon, sacking the legendary city and bringing an end to Hammurabi's dynasty. This shocking victory sent ripples of fear and awe throughout the ancient world. Yet triumph was short-lived. Mursili was assassinated in a web of palace intrigue, and his death plunged the kingdom into chaos. The once unified realm was now beset by internal strife, as rival factions vied for power. For more than a century, the Hittites endured a dark age marked by assassinations, succession crises, and the steady erosion of their borders. The royal court was gripped by turmoil, and the kingdom's influence waned as enemies pressed in from all sides. The hard-won gains of the old kingdom slipped away, and the state teetered on the brink of collapse, its future uncertain. Yet, even in these troubled times, the seeds of empire had been planted. The memory of unity and strength endured, waiting for the right moment to flourish once more. Soon, a new line of strong and determined kings would rise, restoring Hittite power and leading the kingdom into a new era of greatness. Hattusa became the heart of the Hittite world, a massive walled city crowned by temples and palaces. Its double walls and lion-guarded gates symbolized imperial might and security. The Great Temple and Royal Palace were not just religious and administrative centers but economic powerhouses with vast archives. Hittite innovation shone in their three-man chariots, giving them a battlefield edge. They pioneered ironworking, producing stronger weapons and tools than their Bronze Age rivals. Their legal code was progressive, emphasizing restitution over brutal punishment. Offenders compensated victims, fostering order and stability. This legal framework helped unify a diverse, multi-ethnic society under the Great King. Hattusa's rise marked the transformation of the Hittites into a true imperial power. Asupaluliyama, I revived the Hittite kingdom, transforming it into a true empire. He shattered the Mitanni kingdom with bold military maneuvers, making it a Hittite vassal. Through war and diplomacy, he brought Syrian and Levantine city-states under Hittite control, often sealing alliances with royal marriages. His prestige was so great that Egypt's queen asked for a Hittite prince to become pharaoh, a request that ended in murder and sparked decades of hostility. A devastating plague, likely brought from Syria, swept the empire and claimed Supaluliyama's life. Despite tragedy, his reign marked the Hittites' peak, setting the stage for a legendary clash with Egypt. The Hittite Empire now stood as a dominant force in the ancient Near East. The fierce rivalry between the Hittite and Egyptian empires reached its boiling point at Kadesh, a vital and strategic city located in what is now Syria. This city, perched on the banks of the Orontes River, was a coveted prize, controlling key trade routes and regional power. Determined to reclaim lost territory and assert his dominance, Pharaoh Ramesses II led a massive Egyptian army northward, intent on confronting the formidable Hittite king, Muwatalli II, who had assembled his own powerful forces to defend Kadesh. Muwatalli, a master of strategy, employed cunning deception. He sent false defectors to mislead Ramesses, convincing the Egyptians that the Hittite army was far away, luring them into a carefully prepared trap. Suddenly the Hittite chariots thundered onto the battlefield, launching a surprise ambush that nearly crushed the Egyptian forces. The chaos and dust of battle threatened to overwhelm Ramesses and his men. Ramesses later claimed that his own courage and leadership turned the tide, but in truth, the arrival of Egyptian reinforcements and the Hittites' distraction by looting the Egyptian camp proved decisive. The battle raged on, with both sides suffering heavy losses. When the dust settled, the Battle of Kadesh ended in a costly stalemate. Both armies were battered and exhausted, with neither side able to claim a clear victory. In the years that followed, the Hittites and Egyptians continued to clash in smaller skirmishes, draining their resources and weakening their empires, even as new threats began to emerge on their borders. Realizing that endless war would only bring ruin, the two great powers chose diplomacy over destruction. In 1259 BCE, they negotiated and signed the world's first known peace treaty, a groundbreaking agreement that set a precedent for future international relations. The Eternal Treaty established clear borders, promised mutual defense against common enemies, and pledged lasting peace between the Hittites and Egyptians, a remarkable achievement for the ancient world. Today, a replica of the Treaty of Kadesh is displayed at the United Nations, serving as a powerful symbol of ancient diplomacy and the enduring human desire for peace. Through the struggle at Kadesh and the peace that followed, the Hittites proved themselves equals to mighty Egypt, securing their place as one of the great powers of the ancient world. Hittite society was hierarchical, with the great king as ruler, priest, and judge. Nobles, officials, and military leaders formed the elite, while artisans, farmers, and merchants sustained the economy. Religion was central. They were the people of 1,000 gods, blending deities from many cultures. Their mastery of ironworking gave them a military edge, though bronze remained common. Iron was a state secret, a source of power and prestige. Their legal code favored restitution over brutality, emphasizing compensation and social cohesion. The Hittites built a society that valued order, innovation, and cultural integration. In the late 13th century BCE, the Hittite Empire faced disaster. Weak kings, drought, and famine destabilized the realm. Desperate pleas for grain went unanswered. The Sea Peoples, a wave of raiders and migrants, swept through the region, toppling kingdoms and cutting off trade. The Hittite system, reliant on central control and vassal loyalty, crumbled under the pressure. Around 1180 BCE, Hattusa was sacked and burned, the empire collapsing in fire and chaos. The central state vanished, though small Neo-Hittite kingdoms lingered for centuries. The mighty Hittite Empire faded into legend, lost for 3,000 years. For centuries, the Hittites were a forgotten name, their capital buried and their story lost. Only in the 20th century did archaeologists uncover Hattusa and its vast archives, rewriting ancient history. The Hittites emerged as a third great power alongside Egypt and Mesopotamia, their language a key to Indo-European origins. Their legal code showed early humanity and fairness. Their diplomacy set precedents for peace. The Treaty of Kadesh remains a symbol of international cooperation. The Hittites' rise, glory, and fall remind us of the fragility of empires and the value of adaptation. Their innovations in law, warfare, and governance still echo today. By studying the Hittites, we gain insight into the challenges of building and sustaining complex societies. Their story is a timeless lesson in resilience, integration, and the enduring quest for peace.